Has life ever pushed you to the wall until you can't go through the wall and you just feel like you're going to collapse? In form of stress, in form of, life defeating patterns, in form of depression, some trauma that you just wonder, was life all about this? Well, that's what we deal with as psychologists. That when life gets tough, when things get tough, until your brain is so overwhelmed to handle, you need some help. And this help can come from a professional therapist, a psychotherapist who can help you. And that's what I do. My name is Maureen. I'm a certified psychologist, and I help you navigate through such issues of life. Because let me tell you, life will still happen. It can happen today, you get over it, but again tomorrow it will happen again. Traditional practices and beliefs affect mental illness in a way that sometimes you find they clash. And I would give an example of like in our communities, the traditional beliefs and practices that surround death. You find that for some people, it's very traumatizing until they never heal from that trauma. And for some, culturally, when they do it, they believe that it's supposed to be helping this person grieve the dead one. So in psychology, I will say this person is going through grief, but how it is handled is different. Now, where there's a clash until it has gone into a full-blown mental illness, then now when they come for therapy, then there's a clash. Maybe even apart from grief, let me give a different example of a childhood disorder that children are born with. Now, there's this childhood disorder called cerebral palsy. In some cultures, when a woman gives birth to such a child, in some culture and belief, they will say the child was bewitched while they were still in their stomach. And it is believed like that. And how can they lead to mental illness? In some communities, you find such a child will be killed. So that they will be killed because they believe they have been bewitched. But now when you look at science, which is even psychology, that condition has a name, and the name is cerebral palsy. And the interventions, of course, that such a child can go through. Now you see there's a clash between our traditional beliefs, culture, and now science, which is psychology. Religious interpretations really affect the outcome of psychotherapy in a way that how they believe that the patient is supposed to be healed, the interventions they want to use do not go with now the therapeutic interventions in psychology. I will give an example of a person who has schizophrenia, which is a mental disease. Now, in psychology, that's someone who gets treatment. They get their own meds, and that's how they're able to stay well. But now in religion, it'll be like, since such a person, like the symptoms, you see, they hallucinate and all that. And religiously, it can be interpreted as akona demons. So they want to exorcise the demons out of the person. Now, you will find that it affects the treatment outcome because such a person will stop taking the medication. And in schizophrenia, when you stop taking the medication, the symptoms still come. So they will stop taking the medication because now they want to go through exorcism. And in most cases, it doesn't work and that's why we find it affects the outcome of the condition. I think a good approach will be actually to integrate, and here integration will really depend on the particular client and the particular condition. In a way that at the end of it, as in psychology, we want to be as ethical as we can to this client, but it's also good for us to understand who is the client that we are treating, what is really their cultural background and their belief, what do they believe their condition is. And if they are religious, really get interested in how religiously they believe that their illness can be treated. With that understanding, then, you are able to integrate now psychology into healing, and therefore you can have an all-round approach in treating this client. And integration is a very good thing, because then now you expect to get a good outcome of a client who will stay with you than trying to put one way that they might not understand, that they might drop on the way. The community and the worldview around mental illness is very, it really affects mental wellness in a way that, first of all, especially in the African society, we have not really embraced psychotherapy. And therefore, you find that people don't come for help even if they are ill. You find that there's stigma around it, and maybe because of the shame that surrounds it and the fear, they don't come for mental illness. But I think maybe as a psychotherapist, it's good to create that awareness that some of these conditions can be held through psychotherapy, can be healed through psychotherapy, through science, through medication. And it's just to bring the awareness and encourages communities to bring their loved ones whenever they feel that they're not mentally ill. I think it's just creating awareness, and not awareness in a form of education, what we might call psychoeducation, so that for them to know that it's not a fight. It's just finding a holistic way of dealing with mental illness. So it will do a lot of education to show, like previously what was there and the outcome and all that. Not to look like this is the best, but working together just to bring a holistic healing to the patient.